Hey, V Griffith. What's up, Rochelle Bailey? Y'all jumping in here to see the Grumpy stories, huh? Y'all see Grumpy? They y'all will come on up in here, boy. Y'all hear me okay? We got a Grumpy story. What's up, Rochelle? Let's see who else is in here. I saw V Griffith. I think it is. Yeah, V Griffith. I saw you. How you doing, baby? I'll wait and see if anybody else come in. I just got through doing the hot pot, the shabu shabu. Uh, that's what I felt like today, and I'm getting ready to go do some getting ready to go do some laundry. Y'all see the laundry in the back seat. I got everything off the truck. I think the only thing I have to go back for is I think I left my seatbelt extender in there. And if they done taking it out, I'll order another one. It only costs $10. So I might order another one. And then I gotta eventually do the paperwork, but uh, there's other drama. Let's see what we got in here. I'll wait, see who else. Yeah, I got some grumpy story for y'all today. Child, that ninja is something. Well, I got a couple of grumpy stories for y'all. So just kind of telling y'all about what we deal with out here in Lubbock. And I'll tell you, well, I'll tell that story first, and if somebody else come in, we'll talk about the real grumpy story that I'm talking about. So was it yesterday or day before yesterday? So I went, delivered the load. Then I took most of that day, Monday, to clean up the truck, to clean it out, clean it up, pack it up. Got everything off the truck, got it wiped down by the end of the day. But at the beginning of the day, I ended up going into Rip Griffin's because I parked in Rip Griffin's after I dropped the trailer. And I went in there and got me went to the bathroom, got some breakfast. So Monty was coming to meet me so that we could take the stuff off the truck. Hey, DL Lieberman, what's up? I'm starting part of the grumpy story. So he came in and he came inside like, what you doing? Because you were supposed to be outside to pack the truck. I said, come on in here and sit down and eat because I hadn't eaten breakfast. I said, look, I haven't had breakfast yet. You get up way early in the hell in the morning and you have breakfast, but I ain't had no breakfast yet. So lo and behold, y'all, I'ma drive and tell the story. We in the car, so I ain't gonna worry too much about it. Um, and y'all can hear me okay, right? I'll turn this AC down. Oh, there we go. It'll calm down in a minute. Um, there we go. Okay, good. So I told him, I said, look, um, I ain't ate, so you can come on in here and eat. And so I said, you can come on in here, I'll get you a drink or whatever. Hey, Brown Sugar, what's up, baby? So I said, you can come, Brown Sugar. You gonna take a picture with your surprise, your gift, and send it to me, so I can put something up to show people that I did send you your winning gift thingy, your the the giveaway. You gotta send me something, a picture with you with your plates. Anyway, Grumpy turned around and he came in and he sat down with me and I ate my breakfast and I got him he wanted a Diet Coke. I got well I'm shocked he did a Diet Coke. He usually does. I don't know if it was diet or not. Now I think about it. It might not have been diet. And so he did a drink, a soda. So I got his little soda and let's see where I'm at. Give me a minute, y'all. I'm trying to get to where I'm going. There we go. I did his soda and Grumpy turned around and we sat there and we ate and he messed with the waitresses. He does all sorts of like very obnoxious stuff, snapping his finger at them, and he'd be trying to playful, but it's part of his old game, his control, weird manipulation, and women doing shit for him. Well, anyway, he proceeds to tell me there's one of the old men that are there. I call them the old trucker group. That sit there, little Trumpites, and they sit there and they talk, and this Monty won't, he won't say nothing negative while they're there. So there's one old guy. He calls him, he nicknamed him Cigar because he always comes in. He never smokes a cigar. All the guys does is chew on the edge of the cigar. And so I think it's for show. Maybe that's something he did in his younger days to make it look like he fit in with the smokers out here. But all he does is chew on cigar. He doesn't smoke. And my dad said, he said, man, I always see you with the cigar, but I never see you light it. And he says, oh, I don't smoke. I just chew the cigar. So he always in there chewing on the edge of the cigar. I have no idea. Maybe this shit, maybe the tobacco tastes good. Hell, I don't know. Well, anyway, he said that I guess the guy came over and he's giving me a joke. Like, he's like, "Hey, you're back in town?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah." And he give me a joke. He says, I said, "How are you?" And he says, "Fine." You know, he's the one who asked for Monty's jacket. If Monty cashes in his chips, he won't be getting it. But anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. So he comes over and he's kind of jovial with me and joking. And he goes, "Yeah, what did he tell me he was doing? Yeah, I'm doing XYZ." I was like, "Oh, okay." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, how have you been?" He's like, "I'm fine. And, I just basically do this, that, and the other thing." And I was like, "Okay." He says, "Well, what I do is I've been going to church." I'm like, "Well, that's good." And I sing in the choir. I said, "Well, that's good. You singing in the choir. That's good." Light change, y'all. And I said, "That's really good that you sing in the choir and you going to church. You old as hell. You should be going to church. You want to make sure you cross over to the right side." Shoot. You want to make sure you cross. I hope y'all can see me okay. Here, let me put it like that. You want to make sure you cross over to the right side. Well, he was joking with me. So after he left, he kind of giggled and laughed. And then this is a white dude. So Monty leans in. He said, "Yeah, he decided to tell me his nigga joke the other day." I said, "Excuse me? This is what I'm talking about, the black folks out here." I said, "What the hell you mean?" He said, "I don't remember the joke." He said, "But I said, "Wait a minute, did he use the N word?" The man used the N word to tell Monty, my grumpy, a nigga joke. And you didn't say nothing? Crazy as hell. When I got through with that guy, he would never come over to my table anymore. We'd be done. You wouldn't even speak to me. I'm like, "You should have stopped him right away." I was telling my best friend today, she said my husband would have hauled off and punched him in the face. I said, "You ain't got to do violence, but you damn sure can turn around and make it very clear to step your ass up away from that damn table." I said, "But see, like I told you, they got some master Negroes out here." And I said, "And so it's okay for a white man to come to your table." And my father is so by lot so sorry that your ass can't turn around and deal with this because you're a black man. That tells me you're not a black man, you're a black male. I'm just like, "Oh my God. Are you?" After that, look, when I go up in there, you can't say shit to me. You don't tell me the wrong thing. They want to see, thank you. They want to see how far they can push that envelope, and they just saw what kind of male he is. They saw exactly what Monty is sorry as shit. There is no way you could come to me, use the N word, and be a white person, and still to come back up to me. You couldn't. There's nothing, not a damn thing. You can't even step to me with that foolishness. That is straight insanity. Straight insanity. So I guess he used the N word, and I said, I said the first thing you should have done was shut that shit down. Now, exactly, you just gave him permission to basically use the N word at any damn time he wanted to in conjunction with you. You just gave him full fledged rights. He could probably call you a nigga and it wouldn't be a big deal. I know you ain't supposed to turn here. Oh, if you don't go. Okay, I need to turn, y'all. I'm hoping I can turn here. There we go. Yeah, you just basically gave him permission to call you a nigga, and you don't even live here. You crazy as hell. You just gave him full fledged permission, and you don't live here. Oh, I said, and you don't even live here. You gave him full fledged permission, and he can call you a nigga, and you don't live here. You crazy as hell. Um. So anyway, yeah, he tells me that. I'm like, are you really for real? Hey D, hey D, Ediboko. Edit. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to see it. D. Edibiopo. I might not be saying it, but D. I'm gonna call you D. I like the last name. My dad would drop him even if a black man. My best friend doesn't like the N word, and her father told her never to use it. She messes with me if I use it. I try to use ninja, But he doesn't sit with them. So this is what happens when he goes in. Monty sits by himself. There, these old men sit at a big round table that they have there at Rip Griffin's, and they talk about politics. They talk about all sorts of stuff. Monty does not sit with them, but because he's there, they speak to him because he's become a regular. So they'll speak to Monty. He goes in there almost every morning like they do. So they'll speak to him. So he got to know that whole table of guys. But every time they come in, it's all white men or white males. I ain't gonna call them men because, like I said, a man is a different person, has some character to him. And for you to be bold enough to go over to any kind of African American and say and use and tell a nigger joke, I got a problem. And then I have a problem with the black male who allows that. Now I had a situation, and this is how my father sucks. He does. He sucks as a male. He sucks as a man. And I'll tell you this situation. This is a grumpy story. When I came out here and stayed and was working for Wells Fargo, Monty was living in the ghetto fab apartments, and I was again trying to transition to. I wasn't trying to live in Lubbock, but I was trying to transition to Texas. Hey, MJ63, I'm doing okay. I'll have other news next week. So, but I'm telling some grumpy stuff right now. You'll have to go back and hear the early part of the grumpy part. I'm gonna tell some more grumpy stuff in a minute in conjunction with this vehicle, and I think I might end up taking it somewhere tomorrow. I'll tell y'all about because I want to see. I don't believe. Okay, I don't believe. So I believe he's lying, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, uh, Grumpy was I was well, we were living in the I was staying in an apartment with him. I just started working for Wells out here, and my goal was to transition into possibly Austin or one of those places. But I really hated Lubbock. It just this is a very different group of folks. So while he was living in the apartments, there was a guy downstairs when he bought this car, and he had the old ghetto car. I think the guy was jealous. So you had open parking spaces, and not every apartment was used up. Okay. Judy Drone must come in. Hey, Judy. Um, the not every apartment was occupied, so they had extra parking spots. So I parked next to Monty's car. The guy who lived below him had moved in. I don't even know if that guy was even there 3 months, if that. And that guy, he would park his work truck and his regular car also in two spots. Well, whichever one was open, it didn't matter. Was they weren't assigned. So all of a sudden, when I came down after Monty got the car, which I think, Negroes get jealous, he saw the new car. And when I came down, he goes, "Oh, y'all got two cars now." Just niggerish. I hate to say it. And I hate to use that word, but it just was niggerish. And so make sure you hit the like. Oh, thank you. Thank you, DL Lieberman. Yes, like, subscribe, thumbs up. Even if you don't like it in the word of D-Boy saying somebody else might like it, give it a thumbs up and hit the bell if you want reminders. So, um, it turned around that Monty had he had been gone. He had to go do something. I can't remember. Did he leave? I can't remember what happened. But we had the new car, and I had parked my car, or I'm gonna say my car, the car that the old beater. I parked it in the spot where this guy usually parks. Well, again, it wasn't a sign where he sometimes parked his work truck. I was on my way upstairs, so then Monty came, and Monty parked in the typical spot he parked in. This ninja came outside. This dude from downstairs, a hole, talking to me crazy. Okay. And I'm trying to remember how it all happened. I can't remember if Monty had gone somewhere, if somebody had picked him up. I can't remember. There was something that had transpired where he wasn't at the apartment, but the two cars were there. And I don't know if somebody had picked him up or what he had done. He might even went to walk because at the time he was trying to walk or whatever. And amen, Disa. And so he turned around and he goes, the guy started just going off on me. "Oh, y'all got two cars." And I'm like, "Yeah, my father just got this car." And then just totally went off and talking to me crazy. I'm like, "Bro, I'm not from here and I don't know you. And I don't know what your issue is. There are plenty of parking spots down here." But this one was kind of like closer to his door. and we were upstairs above him, so it'd be also closer to Monty getting to the stairs or me getting to the stairs. He goes off talking to me crazy, and I'm like, okay, I called the police on him, and I told Monty, you got a gun up in here, cause it's gonna be on and cracking up in here with this. He don't know me. He don't know me. So I actually ended up calling the cops. Cops came talk to me. They then went to talk to him, and they like, look, you the one she called. You the one up here talking to this lady crazy. The apartment does not have assigned parking spots. The cop was real nice to me. He's like, ma'am, and I said, I said, I came from somewhere else. I'm working at Wells, and eventually I'm transitioning out of here. I'm living with my father until I either get my own place. I'll be here for about 6 months, and then I'm gonna transfer to the with the company somewhere else. Pop, that was the plan. And then I saw the sticks and all the other weird shit they had going on in Wells Fargo here a little bit. So Monty, this is my sorry behind father. He go downstairs with his tail between his legs. Yeah, is there a problem? Is there a problem? He's like, and this man lied. I think he lied, told him that one of his kids was disabled, that he takes that comes and sees him, or one of his grandkids. Look, I've been there for about 6 months. We ain't seen one disabled kid come up to that apartment. And then the guy who was his buddy who lived in the complex, he came and talked to Monty. He said, "Man, look, I'm sorry what my boy did." He said he was talking to your daughter crazy. He shouldn't have talked to her that way. He said, and honestly, he said, I think my boy is jealous because you guys got the new car. He said, so, I'm really sorry, but if your daughter told you about it, she's telling you the truth. She didn't do anything. She parked the car. She was heading upstairs with some groceries. She wasn't doing anything. Monty's like, oh, I went down there and talked to him. Just Monty has no defense for his kids. Now, had that been Trucker Bill's daughter had gotten told off at a laundromat. Trucker Bill, the police had to come in on that. Trucker Bill about to put his fist and foot in this man's ass. That's a daddy who is a daddy about his kids. This ninja I got, child, please. Sorry as shit. He's sorry. He's sorry. My sister called her after her mother died. She called him with some issues she was having. Okay, where you want fatherly wisdom and advice. He got a phone with her talking about, oh, call me. Have you talked to your sister? Now, I just met them. At that point, she's a half sister. I didn't grow up with her. I'm just getting to know her. Sweet lady. Oh, have you talked to your sister? I'm like, no. Well, she called and told me doop de doop de doop de doop stuff that she didn't tell me. I said, okay, well, you might want to call her because his thing is he don't take no ownership for nothing. And like my best friend said, she said he doesn't have a clue of that being a father. I said, not only does he have a clue, he doesn't want to be a father unless it benefits him. Then I'm your daddy. It's like I told Monty, I said, you better make sure you get your house in order before you talk to Jesus. Cause brother, I hate to be at that conversation when you hit the other side of the dirt. I say, cause you getting ready to have some true cockadoodle doo moments. Cockadoodle doo! Chickens have come home to roost. I said, a lot of what you're doing right now in your life, cockadoodle doo! D.L. Lieberman, this is the trippy thing. So here's what I know. Because again, I didn't grow up with him. He told me a portion of his life he was with my grandmother's mother. I do not know where my grandmother was. I don't know what was going on. I thought that he grew up with both his parents and then they went through a divorce of some sort. I know that there was a point in which he was with both of them and they were together and to my understanding married. Okay. Because he tells me of a time when he remembers his mama stabbing my grandfather, I guess his father, which I never really met. I met him when I was a baby, but or I was taking her when I was a baby, but I'm not going to remember that. I don't remember his father because I never saw him after a certain age. And then I do know his mother because I was in Arizona, so I used to go over to my grandmother's house all the time. His mother, both of my grandmothers I knew, but he apparently stayed with his grandmother for a period of time, my grandmother's mother. Then somehow, I guess they came and got him. I don't know when that took place. Then they separated or divorced. My grandmother ended up with this other man in Arizona who I couldn't stand. And I think that man did not want to even have to have anything to do with rearing my father. So Monty got to acting up, supposedly, is what happened. And my grandmother sent him to live with his father here in Plainview, Texas, on the dairy farm. Okay. So I don't know if that helps with understanding the dynamics. My understanding is he grew up on the dairy farm, but my also understanding is my grandparents, neither of them ever really disciplined him. I don't think so. I think the only thing my grandfather, his father, showed him was how to be a hard worker because he says, and I'll give him that. He worked hard all his life. He doesn't have a problem with working for money. Okay, if it's for money and it's work, Monty will do it. If it's working to clean your house, wash, unless it's to go wash his behind or lay on a woman, he's not going to do it. He doesn't. He's just trifling. And so, and he went to the military too. He was drafted into Vietnam. But again, he didn't have to fight in the war because he was an only son. Um, Monty, I don't think his father told him he didn't really want kids either. Okay, they had Monty, and he was spoiled by his stepmother. He was spoiled by my grandmother's sister. My grandmother's sister bought him his first pack of cigarettes and stuff. If he wanted cigarettes, she gave it to him. There was no They didn't jump in his ass. I'll be honest. He was an only child. He's very much an only child person even to this day. And I think they spoiled the shit out of him because anytime your mama is in the hospital, checks herself out in order to cook you a meal, and I don't know if she had a stroke or what was going on. My grandmother ended up in the hospital, and she checked herself out in order to cook him a meal. And you allow your mama to get up and make you a meal after she been in the hospital with health issues? You that tell me all I need to know. You don't really give a damn. It's all about you. Everything's about him. And so even just the fact that like the barbecue he brought in he bought barbecue for himself but didn't bring his daddy nothing. And then, oh, I got an extra sandwich if you want one. So I don't think I think all he knew was how to work. I think his father just showed him how to work. They didn't teach him how to be a man because his dad probably wasn't even a man. Yeah. So I don't only on the work ethic. I don't think he taught him any other way, any other, and it might be that's the only skill set he had was just going out working hard. But Monty, any other part of being a man, he has no clue. And the sad part is he did have enough of a role model, as you're mentioning. You would think that he would speak into his children's lives. At least his father was there to, take ownership. Monty didn't take ownership for shit. I mean, really none of his kids. Like I said, the only one he has somewhat helped out has been Norris, who's in prison. And that's because I think he spent his life in and out of prison, and that's the only child he had that was in a marriage. I'm the oldest, and Norris is a second. So him and my mother. I thought it was a high school baby, but they were well out of high school. They were in their 20s. Because I'm 50, Monty's 70, so he was 20 years old when I was conceived. So that tells me, hey, African Violet, that tells me a lot. But so the other part of the grumpy story, to tell y'all this. So he took the car to the mechanic this morning. Well, I'm a, hold on. Okay, let's deal with that real quick. There are plenty of men, I always have a saying, back even when I did ministry. There are people who grew up in their household with both parents. That does not mean they were parented. You can go up in a household with a mother and a father. Doesn't mean you really had a mother and a father. All they are is they're sperm donors. They put you here. God used them to put you on the planet. They had no clue as to how to be a parent or to be a mother or father to you. Zero. Zero skill sets. I went to school with kids who had parents in the household. Both parents, mom and dad, which is supposed to be a plus, right? Neither one of them knew how to be a mom. Neither one of them how to be a dad, and it was just a hot ass mess. The child was a hot ass mess. The house was a hot ass mess. They didn't parent the kids. We have a lot of that today. Our parenting is done via you give them the phone and sit them in the back seat and let them play with the phone. You got plenty of people who have mom and dad in the house, and you go to Walmart and they running all over the damn store instead of somebody snatching their ass up and taking them in their bathroom and getting in their tail. So you got plenty of people even today who have both parents and they're not being parents. Just because you had children don't make you a mom or a dad. You know, as my friend said, anybody can father a child. Shit, a 13-year-old can father a child. Don't make them a father. Don't make them a daddy. So Yeah, and like that's one of the reasons why I told him though, when he got to talk to me and I asked him to write everything up and he wouldn't write everything up and go talk to somebody about putting his stuff in order. I don't know about life insurance. All I knew is I said to myself, I, Shannon, don't want no part of whatever you got going on. Because my fear, me and my best friend talked about that. When he cashes in his chips, he slept around so much. I'm shocked he's not HIV positive. Hey Rochelle, um, he slept around so much that I don't know how many other kids are going to come out the woodwork. And I thought to myself, do I really want to deal with a bunch of baby mamas that's trying to get money out of him or come in and ask for stuff? And he ain't really got nothing to my knowledge. He don't got anything. And I really don't think he has much other than I don't know what his life insurance is. I think he has one through the railroad. Hopefully it's enough to put him in the dirt. Oh, okay. So MJ63, you're new to everything. You can go back and see my other videos, but my father, and I do give the story of Grumpy. I give the Grumpy Smurf story. He reached out to me at age 25. I met him at age 9. I mean, I knew who he was. My mother had like, I guess back in the day in the military, they used to give you like a military yearbook when you graduated, and I guess she had a his copy or whatever. And so that is how I knew who my father was. I never physically met him until age 9. And what I remember, he was married to my brother who's in prison's mother, and I liked her. Pam was a very nice lady. And she was at the time, I think she was studying to be a Dallas PD. I met her. Norris was a little boy at the time, a baby. They came to my aunt's house, my great aunt's house, my grandmother's sister's house. And Monty walked in the house, he looked at me and walked out and didn't say one word. And I knew exactly who he was. He didn't hug me, he didn't pick me up, he didn't say, "Hello, I'm your dad." He didn't say shit. He walked in, looked me in my face, and walked right the hell back out the front door. His wife, Pam, spoke to me. "I'm your stepmom. My name is Pam. So nice to meet you." I remember that to this day. He don't know I remember that, but I do. I remember it. The brother is trifling. He trifling. I remember it. There's a picture he has in a photo album because I was helping him go through some stuff in the room with him and my other half siblings. The one he laid on their mama for 3 kids, one girl and 2 boys. The picture is of her and her brothers. And I'm going to tell you right now, normally when a parent takes a picture, the kids are the star of the show. If you look at that picture, Monty is the star of that picture. He didn't give a damn about them kids. It was like, y'all remember when he came up to the truck to get the stuff and he did that? It's all about him. You have to understand, when a picture's worth 1,000 words. If there's a camera, he is the star of the show. He divorced Pam. I know she did not finish she was getting ready to complete the Dallas PD program. And I don't know if you guys, if you're old enough to remember, if you're from Texas or remember, they had all those killings of the Dallas police out for a while. There was a lot of killing off of Dallas PD. So she decided because she had 2 kids, one of her kids is I don't know what's wrong with him. He's slow. I don't like to use the word retarded, but he's slow. There's some kind of learning disability. So when Pam died, her mother got custody of him. Um, Somebody had a stepson too. And Pam actually was getting off the bus in Dallas, crossing the street, and got hit by a car and was killed. And so that's how she died. So Norris's only living parent right now is Ninja. And that's the same thing for the 3 kids, the 3 half siblings, and that's what made it so depressing. Hey, Michelle, when he hold on, my dad left. Hold on. Ooh, 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 ooh. Cancel that. Hold on, Michelle, I'm trying to see. Good evening. My dad left 5 children. We're all better for it. God has not let me miss a beat. You're beautiful people. Be encouraged. I am. I'm not really depressed because I hate to say it, and it's not that I wish bad on anybody. What I'm seeing right now, Monty, is sowing and reaping. And don't get me wrong, all of us, even me, I'm going to sow some things that I don't want to sow. We all sow and reap something. I'm just going to say that. We all sow and reap something. And Monty right now is sowing a lot. He's sowing. I hate to say it. He is sowing. We all go through a sowing and reaping, and Monty right now is sowing. Excuse me, he's reaping. He's reaping his harvest. And I told him, I'm sitting back watching him. I was like, I said, I want, like I told him, I wonder how many of your children's mom could throw away good bars of soap and throw away whole pairs of pants because it has a hole in the pocket. And then you sit up here crying, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke. I said, because you want to say, Monty wants an instant fix to stay in his foolishness. He wants to keep doing what he wants to do and not changing. So I told him, I said, you're reaping what you sow. You've sown foolishness. You refuse to change, and you want to stay in the foolishness. Do you, homeboy? And he wants somebody to care about him and his foolishness. I've gotten to the point I don't care. Sowing and reaping, the biblical principle of what you do to somebody, or some people call it karma. Okay, he's got some karma coming back. A lot of his health challenges are karma. Monty thought he was Mister Lover Lover. Shaba ranks. I think it was Shopper Ranks or was it Shaggy? Lubba Lubba. He thought he was the shiznit. So his golden ticket that's between his legs now that it don't work. I mean, he was impotent first from the prostate cancer. That totally depressed him because he couldn't go around here and just screw 5 million women because he was a sex addict. And then and now he's on top of that, he's incontinent, so he can't control his urine. So he's on a catheter. Everything is it's God forgive me, and I don't wish anything bad on nobody. I find it irony that the very thing that you loved, that thing between your legs that made you feel like you were just the king of the kingdom, is now you can't get a heart on and you can't pee on your own. That was his. And so everything he thought that was manly cut. And I told him, if you can't wrap your head around it, repent and move on and realize, hey, you ain't out here hoeing around. He would be still if his dick would get hard, he'd still be out here screwing women at 70 years old. Yes, he would. He wouldn't stop. So you asked me when I got to know him, age 25 is when he reached out to me. And then I didn't really know who he was, and I'm still learning who he was. Like I didn't know about the compulsive lying until recently. I did not. Hey, Dustin, I didn't know about the compulsive lying until just recently. Um, and then like when I talked to my half sister, she told me that I guess she told her mom about me mentioning him lying, and her mom straight up told her, I didn't want to tell you that your dad was a compulsive liar. I was like, damn. so so speaking of lies, let's get into that. So I told him about the brakes on the car, like I did about the tires, right? I didn't. We'll talk about that in a minute too, because I'm gonna come back to that. That's that I, DL, we're gonna come back to that. I told him about the brakes on the car because I could hear him squealing. He bought this car. I was here back in 2010, 11, right? He bought this car. The car was pre-certified on used, and it had at the time. Let's see if I can find out what this is now. It had. I'll see where his miles are at now. Hold on. Let's see if I can see it from here. I know you can see the miles. Trying to see the miles. Hold on for a second. Where's his miles? I know I can see it on here. I'm not seeing it. Hold on. Hold on. Who's texting me? Hold on for a second, y'all. Okay. I can't see it right now. I have to go look for it. But I know that this car, I think he's got. Let me see if I can see it when I do that. Let me see. Average speed. Okay. 76,782 miles on this car. Okay. When he got it, I think it had barely 20,000 miles on it. Okay. So virtually a new car. And this is a Buick Lucerne, 2006 I think it's 2006. Beautiful car when he got it. Okay. Monty got this car in like 2000. I think it was around 2000, late 2010, early 2011. He has had this car since 2011. and never had a brake job done on it. Let's go from here. I'm hearing the brakes squeal when I go to stop. Okay. I told him, I said, Monty, you need a brake job. I said, have you heard the squealing? No, I ain't heard it. I ain't heard it. Lying. So one night we were going back over to the terminal that I just recently was with the little company I was with. They take me over and I heard the brake squeal. I said, oh yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. Well, you do know that's your brakes. Yeah, I know. Well, why did you just tell me you didn't know? Compulsive liar. I said, you need to go get your brakes done. I said, got your oil change done. I've gotten your tires on the car. I'm not doing your brakes because I don't drive this car enough to actually warrant doing the brakes. And I ain't let my brakes get to where they squealing like this. Y'all got to hear this. So today, I think he did his loan. So today he told me, oh, I called Mitch. And I think what he thought was that I was going to help him with half of the brake cost. No, I'm not. I called Mitch and I told him that, the brakes was doing this. And he told me that it probably could cost as much as up to 500 some dollars. I said, and or more if you done gone through them drums or disc. And I'm pretty much could see they look like they were disc brakes or rotors. So I said, especially if you've gone through them rotors. He turned around and he said, well, I got an appointment for Monday. I said, okay. He said, I'm going to take the car to what's today? Is today Monday? It's Tuesday. I can't remember. Let me look. Maybe it's Tuesday. I had an appointment for Tuesday, which is today, for the car. I said, okay. So when I got in Monday, I handled all my stuff. And so he turned around and he goes, how did he put this? He goes, I'm gonna take the car to the shop today. So he dropped it off this morning and they gave him a ride back to the house. Now, his mechanic Mitch services almost all of the railroaders. All the railroad folks take their car to Mitch here in Lubbock, okay? So Mitch has a pretty good business because all his business is straight referral from railroaders. Y'all gonna love this. Mitch turns around and supposedly, now I wasn't on the call. Monty was in his room, grumpy. Grumpy's in his room. I'm in the living room. I hear that Mitch calls because I could tell it was them calling. He drops the truck off, the car off at 8 something. We don't get it back till later this afternoon, late afternoon, evening, about 3, 4 o'clock. He goes to go get it, and he comes out the room. Yeah. So Mitch said that the car is in good shape. It don't need no brakes. You a lying. The truth ain't in you. I looked, and I looked at him. I said, really? I said, so when was the last time you had the brake service? Oh, I ain't never had the brake service. Wait a minute. You got this car in 2011. It's 2019. And the mechanic you have, you telling me you just had a phone conversation. I'm hearing them brakes squeal, and that man told you that you don't need no brake shoes, no nothing on this car, on that car. I said, I said, you might need a new mechanic. I maybe he did. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm sorry. Now I'm not a mechanic, but I damn sure know if you don't put 76, 50,000 miles on a car, 56,000 miles on a car, from 2011 to 2019 and ain't had no brake job in between that time frame, that man from that mechanic shop did not tell you that car didn't need no brakes. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think happened because he was in the room when he was talking to him. I think Mitch came on that phone and told him the brakes were gonna cost a lot more than 500 effing dollars, and Monty didn't want to pay it. And so Grumpy turned around and he knew that I knew about the brakes, so he coming out with his lies. Oh, he said don't need no brakes on that car. The same way when I told him the tires were bad, he told me he'd taken the car to Mitch before. Well, Mitch said I don't need no tires. You're lying, the truth ain't in you. I drive a semi truck. I'm showing the pre-trip a truck. Now I might not be able to go in and do a brake job. I might not be able to go in and do the hoses, but I can look at a car and certain things I just know is wrong. Okay, I'm sorry, especially if y'all do trucking. There are certain things. If you driving a big truck, you can identify weird crap. The brakes on this car need to be done. Thank you, Brown Sugar. He lying his ass off. Mitch came back with the dollar signs, and Monty didn't want to pay over $500, and he told him, "Don't do it." And he came out that room and told me the car didn't need no brakes. That all was a lie. That all was a lie. He lying. There is no way. I sat there and started laughing. I said, well, I said, you might need a new mechanic. I said, but it ain't my car. I said, but there ain't no way in hell you've had that car since 2006 and a brake job ain't never been done. That car need brakes. I think he done rode it to the point he probably need rotors. And the man told him that. And when you get up there, it's gonna go way beyond $500. You talking about it could be anywhere from $800 or more. And Monty told him not to do nothing. Exactly. There's no freaking way in hell. You and I, y'all all know there ain't no way in hell. So I need some of the brake. Look, lifetime brake pads. Speak on that. I mean, I don't know. There might be some kind of lifetime brake. If Buick is doing the damn thing, if they got that going on, they the shiznit. Everybody and their mama need to buy a Buick if that's the case. Or get the brake pads and disc and I told him and I was looking at him. I'm like this. So I'm gonna tell y'all another story. So the ghetto car that I took, I had to tow back to Arizona. He initially told me that when the transmission went out, he had taken it, he gotten it to Mitch, the same dude. He told me back then, oh yeah, they said that transmission it couldn't be rebuilt on he had a what was that damn car? Mazda. It was a Mazda something. Yeah, Mazda. Oh, they told me that you couldn't rebuild it, that the transmission couldn't be fixed, but that I could drive it, how it was as long as I just drove it around town. So he drove it for several years until I got it and it just finally gave out. And then he got this car. They told me, well, he initially told me they couldn't even rebuild the engine. I'm like, well, I mean rebuild the transmission. And I'm thinking to myself, I ain't never heard that because most stuff on a car you can rebuild. So now you telling me we got disposable cars because if the transmission goes out, you can't fix it. That's a disposable vehicle. I ain't never heard that. Child. I got the thing to Phoenix and we had to rebuild the transmission, which I should have just went and got a different car. But since it was his and he sent the money to get it fixed, and I said, "You remember you told me you couldn't Well, yeah, they told no, that ain't what they told him. They told him how much it was gonna cost to rebuild that transmission, and he didn't wanna spend the money towards that. So he drove it until it wouldn't drive no more because that's how his thinking is. He don't take care of stuff you need to last. And like I told him, I said, "I hope that's what Mitch told you, and I hope he's right." Because what's gonna end up happening is once you go through those discs, if them brakes are bad, I said, it's gonna cost you a hell of a lot more. And I'm gonna be honest, you ain't gonna have the money to fix it. The other problem is I'm praying you don't kill somebody. Because if you can't stop that car, you're gonna have a bad damn day, partner. Especially how he drives. He drives fast. He's not staying in his lane. There's a whole bunch of shit I'm seeing with him. Oh, it's hilarious and it's sick. And you gonna sit up and tell me, oh, we got a disposable Mazda? When did they create them? It was he didn't want to spend the money. So the same way to this, I already know. I almost wanted to call Mitch and say, "Hey, Mitch, how much was it going to cost for the brake job for Monty's car?" Just to see if Mitch tells me what I need to know, and that he actually did tell him there was work to be done on his car. Hey, Chicago BBW, the Ninja's crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm like, they ain't told you that. They ain't told you none of that. Oh, they told me that. They ain't told you that. They ain't told you that. Crazy as a box of rocks. Cray cray. Cray cray. I'm supposed to do laundry tonight, y'all. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm really tired, so I don't know if I'm actually doing laundry tonight. But yeah, he be making up stuff. He be lying. Hey Shay, he be lying, and so yeah, he gonna tell me don't need. I'm sitting up here going, and there's a thunk too. Every time you turn the wheel, you hear this thunk. I said, well, did you tell Mitch about the? No, no, I didn't mention that. Why would you waste the time to send this? You had no intentions on this. So now he got the $500 in his hand. He want to use it for other stuff, probably eating out, doing whatever he wants to do. He crazy. So he doesn't care that he's putting the public and his daughter. No, he don't care. He don't. He don't care. You really, V Griffin, you need to go back and watch that video about him when he wouldn't drive me to the hospital. He don't care. He doesn't think like that anyway. He does not think beyond his face. He doesn't his mind it's he does not think beyond himself. And you have to ask yourself a question. He drives this obviously more than I do. I only drive it sometimes when I'm here in town. I don't ride up on people. So even if this car doesn't stop, I'll have ways to stop this car if I need to. Monty drives fast, aggressive, and he does not think beyond his face. So he's not even thinking about if he can't stop the car, he might kill some family or himself. So you don't even have to get. I'm not worried about him. You would think that would be a priority that he would care about his child. You would think it would be a priority that he would care about the motoring public. But you can't care about anybody else if you don't care about your own safety when it comes to this. But if whatever your desires are outweigh safety stuff, it's not something he cares about. Or I think he doesn't rationalize in that way. So the car to him, this is his small thinking, is gonna get him from A to Z, and the Lord will probably make a way to stop the car if something happens. He's not even a teenager, and I'm not raising anything. I'm letting him do. At this point, I was saying stuff to him. I don't. I if I see something, I feel it's my accountability to say something, and then I leave it alone. So like right now, I could go take the car in tomorrow, go have somebody, and I'm praying on it because I more want to do it just to see if he was lying. But I'm not gonna go fix it. The most I'm doing right now, the most I did was the tires on the back. Because the tires, if you go back to my tire video and you look at just the thumbnail, you can see they were dry rotted all on the side. I just got the tires changed on this car when he got this car in 2011. He had never changed a tire on the car. On the back. He had changed the front to about maybe a year ago. And that was I told him about it. I told him about him about a year ago, and he lied and told me Mitch told him he didn't need tires. I said, "There's no way in hell that that mechanic told you you didn't need tires." On what I saw, and then when I came back down, oh, I went and got two new tires for the front, but I can't afford the other ones right now. He could have afforded them. He wanted to spend his money on something else, so he put two tires on the front, but the back were ready to pop at any time. Yeah, so it's Monty's a hot ass mess. So little boy, he is a little boy. I mean, his behavior is like when I told him that about my stepfather and the perviness and the whole molest thing. Well, had you told my mother's father, had you told your grandfather, my mother's father, that this was happening, he would have killed Tony. Whoa, playboy. My grandfather's name was Doll like mine. Doll Lewis, it wasn't his responsibility to defend his granddaughter. That was you and Francis's responsibility. He doesn't take responsibility for his action. The same way he called me when my sister had some issues about something, and I'm just getting to know her. And you're calling me about her family stuff, and she came to you for fatherly advice because he don't take ownership for shit. He sucks. And it's unfortunate. I'm not the only one with parents who suck, but there's people who live in a household with two parents who aren't parents. Matter of fact, I was listening to what is her name? It's not The View. Is it The Real? I think it's The Real. There's The Real, The View, The Talk. I can't remember which one. Is it Cheryl Underwood or whatever her name is? Cheryl Underwood, I think is what her name is. And or I think it's Cheryl Underwood, the comedian. She was talking about, I don't know if y'all all watched it, Ellen, and Ellen came out about how her mom allowed her to be let her be sexually abused by her stepfather. And even when Ellen brought it up to her mom, she stayed with her mom. Let me make sure nobody's texting me. Even when Ellen brought it up to her mom stayed with the man for XYZ number of years, didn't supposedly believe Ellen. I'm gonna tell y'all this, and a lot of y'all, I think you justify who are hashtag Me Too people, and God bless you. I think you try to see your mama because it's a mama in a better light, and you try to justify what mama says she didn't believe me, she believed him, she asked him. I'm gonna tell you something. Your mama knows that that man has an attraction for you. Your mama knows if that man is trying to rape or attack you. Your mama knows that he's most likely going to molest you or has molested you when you bring it to the table. And when you bring it to the table and your mother whoops you, okay, that's what happened to Cheryl Underwood. The mama's boyfriend or whatever raped her on, I think, continuous basis, and she took it to her mama, and her mama whooped her ass. Okay, because her mama told her not to lie. When your mama does that, what it is your mama is justifying herself for staying with that male because that's what's most important to her. And your mama's basically telling you to keep your damn mouth shut. And all you are, God forgive me for saying this, is a catalyst to keep that man in that house because that's what your mama wants. God forgive me, God forgive me, but that is how I view it. That's how I view it because it's bullshit that your mama had you come from her stuff and she don't know that her child is being molested. My mother had the nerve to accuse me of having a relationship with my brother's father. I'm 9 years old when that man started to molest. My mother knew that man had an attraction. There were things she said to me at 7 years old that told me she knew. So it's bullshit. Ellen's mama, God forgive me, Ellen. I'm sorry. I don't know you, don't know me. Ellen's mama was full of shit. Her mama knew what that man was trying to do. She knew her daughter was telling the truth. Maybe you want to sit up there and try to talk yourself and putting blinders on. I'm living with somebody right now who knows truth and no lies, but they want to stay in their BS. I'm sorry. And Cheryl Underwood, her mama whipping her ass. No, your mama whipped your ass because she wanted you to shut up and sit there and take it because she wanted to keep that sorry ass dude. That's what that's about because there is no good mother whose daughter, son, child, grandchild can come to them with any kind of accusation of that severity and not jump in that ass, call the police in, call the authorities in. It's bullshit. God forgive me for cussing. It is bullshit. And that's this one right here. Grumpy Smurf told me he was dating, well, he was living with this woman. He calls her common law because after it gets out here in Texas, you with somebody for so long, it's a common law. It's a common law marriage. He lived with this one woman. Her son was dating this girl. The girl's mama's boyfriend raped her. She went to her mama, told her that the man raped her, and the mama threw her out the house. The mama threw her out the house. I'm tell you what I know. And I see a lot of women, God bless you, and God forgive me if I'm not soft hearted, and maybe because of my life I have become a little more hard hearted. I see a lot of women, they will almost worship their mothers and have been through some crazy shiznit. I got my niece Vicky, I'm gonna use her for an example. Her half sister was raped by her mama's boyfriend or mama's husband. She told an aunt, the aunt told the mother. The mama and my niece's sister, they moved out of the house away from this man. Went and lived with family. Within, I don't even know if it's a month or whatever, the mama went back to this man. Then she came back months later and got her daughter and took her back into this house with this man for him to continue the molestation and raping of this girl on a regular basis. She used her daughter to keep the man. And I'm using man loosely. Grown pervy ass male. Good for you, Shay. V Griffin, I'm gonna come back to that. Chuck Turner, I hope you're still in here. I'm gonna deal with you real quick, and then I'll come back to the what we were just discussing. Swift and your Swift school is 3 weeks long, which I don't think is a long time. But as long as you study, I mean, a lot of people go through Swift school. A lot of people go and they're okay. I don't think it's great. Um, the thing that I did like about Swift is they're methodical. So there is a methodology by which they run the school. So I mean, which they run the company. Equipment, luck of the draw. And more so to me, their trailers are hard on the reefer side for the reefer division. If you get into a dedicated, like a Walmart dedicated, Costco dedicated, Winco dedicated, they tend to have much better reefer trailers. But if you go to the plain regular reefer division, sucks. I don't know about Drive In, how it is now. I know Drive In had horrible trailers back when I was with them in 2010. However, you can get your license through them. I don't care if it's Night, if it's Swift, whichever one. It's all kind of the same between both of them. Um, Swift is still going through the merger, and they're still going through a lot of changes with the Knight Swift merger. You can do fine. You're going to go out for 250 hours with a trainer. You know, I got stuff popping up, so I was trying to read what it said. You're going to go out for 250 hours with a trainer. I mean, it's just luck of the draw with it with the situation. So go do that, and then what I'm going to suggest from there is you go out with your trainer. Um, Once you're done hanging with the trainer, um, you'll go test out for your truck and go do that. But Swift or Night, I probably would choose Night over Swift. Um, I don't know what Knight's thing is, but Knight is already established, and since they're making so many changes with Swift, if you can get into Knight, I would go there. Either way, the getting in process is going to be virtually the same because Knight is trying to mimic themselves on the Swift. So, yeah. And then back to the situation. So, but if you got any other questions for me, just hit me up in the background. Like I said, you're gonna do your Oh, y'all, hold on. Let me sort of touch this around. Y'all can see them riding down the street with the horses. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me see. See them riding down the street with the horses? Welcome to Lubbock. We had this in Arizona too, but they riding on the sidewalk with the horses. Oh, it's some black folks. All right, black folks. I was expecting some of the more white folks to be doing this, but it's some black folks with the horses. Y'all see the horses? All right, my peoples. All right. And sometimes this little across the street here, across the street, you can't really see it right now because you're on the mount, but across the street that way, they sometimes come in with the carriage. All right, let me switch that back around. Um, oh, he doing prepaid legal and identity theft. All right. Grandpa got a side job, and he's also got his oxygen tank with him. Okay, so one horse don't want to listen, and the other horse, I guess he turning around, so he gonna stay across the street for a minute. One horse don't want to listen, and the other one's okay, but they sometimes have them going there. I was horseback riding when I was younger. It's okay. I'm not a huge horseback riding person. It was okay. Um, what I like. Let's see if somebody else is trying to hit me up. Hold on, let me see this here. Okay, Disney Princess, I think you hit me up. I just got your message on the other phone. Um, yeah, I mean, it was we went when I was younger. And again, this is something with my stepfather before he started the whole weird molestation shit. Um, he took me, my cousins, and we all went horseback riding. But when you deal with these type of people, and especially mothers, I got a friend of mine here locally. Her mother was into drugs and all that. She loved that woman like she loved woman's dirty draws. I mean, she loved her. She loved it, even though her mother brought her down here to Texas with some drug dealing stepdaddy. And and again, I don't know if stuff happened with her because I have some question marks. When I asked her about it based on things she was telling me, every red flag in me tells me she was probably molested and or raped or even traded for some of the drugs they were getting. Because there was a point where she wanted to get out the house and get away and was basically I hate to say it, she may not look at it this way, but when you're trading your body to have a place to stay, that's prostitution. Whatever, if you're trading your body for services, money, places to stay, food, you're prostituting yourself for something. And for you to do that at a young age in high school, it tells me there were some deeper seated issues going on in that household. I'm not judging her because my heart goes out to her beautiful sister, very intelligent sister. But she loved her mama. She loved her mama dirty draws. Loved that woman. And again, sometimes a friend of mine said sometimes that's all people have. So unfortunately, that's all I have to love is this highly dysfunctional individual. And even though my biological mama is effed up, I love her. There's no way, like what I shared with my brother about their father. There's no way that I had a sibling who shares that with me, that honesty. And I'm not telling him to hate my mother. I want him to know who she is. But I'm not gonna sit down with you and we're gonna have a come to Jesus meeting. Like, I can't believe you allowed this to happen. What was going on in your life? We're gonna have a come to Jesus meeting. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I have never. He actually left the house at age, let me see, 12 or 13, right as I was getting, actually, he left the house. I stand corrected. He left at age 10, 10, 11. He was gone for quite a bit. She let him back in the house at age 13, and he didn't last there. I don't even think he was there. He wasn't there even a full 30 days. And then they broke again apart again, and we didn't see him anymore. I really believe the Lord just really intervened for me because at that time, at 10 is when I really converted to Christianity. And I was really I was very strong in my prayer life. And again, I didn't realize because you're a child, I didn't realize I think that's why I needed God so much. Is because you're going through so much, you need a way of mentally, as a child, hanging on. I had her being abusive on the physical beating you side, and then she was also just very mean to me, and probably because she suspected the shit with him. And then I had him where I'm trying to keep him from screwing me and, locking the bedroom door. And I tell you, I locked my bedroom door. My mother beat the shit out of me. You don't lock no blankety doors in my house. And she beat me like I was a slave. And so now that I'm older, like I said, I really hadn't put two and two together to equal four until, because a lot of pieces to the puzzle, you're not able to really put in context how effed up your biological parent is. And it's like God did at age 40, like my 45s through 50, it was like he put a mirror up, and it was like my life was playing like a, and then I start putting two and two together to equal four. So that's when I realized she suspected when she first got with him that this man had some strange attraction for me. The comment on the stoop where she told me if him or his brothers try anything, there is no way in hell I could suspect. If that would be the last thing in my mind if I'm going to get with somebody. I'm not telling you not to be alerted, and you should try, but to me, you warn a child in general. If anybody ever tries to do anything, and I mean anybody, you come tell me. But when you tell me a specific person, that means you suspect something's not right with that person. So no, I never have talked to this. I haven't talked to their father since. Now let me see his ass now. I do that. There's a video on Facebook. This girl called her Chester molester out at the funeral, what do you call it, the repast dinner service. This nigga had the nerve to come up in they funeral and show up at the table and eat some damn food, and gave this girl a quarter to touch her body, and she called him out as a grown woman right then and there. She said, "Oh, I called him out and told him, get your up out of here. You got the nerve to sit down at my family's table for a funeral, and you're a little Chester the molester. Get your ass up out of here." She went straight off on him. Let me see that asshole now. It'd be a whole nother can of worms. Thank you, MJ63. Yeah, you can go back and see some of the stuff with both my parents. And they're both foul. Both of my biological. The weird part is though, even though he's foul like he is, Monty and I can get along, but then I'm also somebody that don't take as much of Monty's shit. I pretty much say what I feel, and he told a friend of his. He said, "Yeah, shit, Shannon ain't no joke. She, you know, sometimes she'll say stuff, and I'll be like, hot damn, cowgirl." You didn't raise any of your children. I don't have to have any respect. I mean, I try to be as nice as I can, and I try to help you out as best I can, but you can only do so much. So you don't want to listen about stuff. Like he wants me to sit here and tell him, "Oh, don't eat sugar," and be like I'm weird. I said, "Oh no." I said, "I'm gonna give you some horchata." Y'all know what horchata is? It's rice milk. It's a Mexican rice milk with season or spices in it like cinnamon and I don't know if they put cardamom in it, and it's got shitload of sugar. Okay, and they mix it up together and they drink. It's a drink. It's really good. I don't mess with it anymore because it's got so much damn sugar in it. Well, he just discovered it, so he's drinking it like it's water. Because anything sugar, that's like it's like crack for his system. Because he loves it. Because he's an insulin based diabetic, 3 times a day, plus metformin. Yes, it is good. But I don't mess with it anymore. I can't because I will be in the toilet with the runs. I'll be up pissing all night because it just doesn't sit well because I'm borderline diabetic. So I already know how my body is going to react to all that sugar. Like I'm ready to go in here to Starbucks in a minute and I'm gonna get me ooh, 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 ooh. I'm gonna get me a violet, which is like a infused right or coconut milk, and I'm gonna get me a chai dirty chai tea. I get both of those, right? What I tell them to do. One, I'm lactose intolerant. I know sometimes I do ice cream. I love ice cream, but what I tell them to do, I tell them put 2 packs of Splenda in it and coconut milk for both. Well, one of them is made of coconut milk. I'm good. Monty would put as much sugar in there. He'll put a half thing. Just the sweeter the better. If it's sugar, he'll drink it. And I'm not saying I don't do sweets. I do sweets from time to time. Honestly, I do. Well, dear Lieberman, I'm going to disagree, and that's where I was going to get to this point. I have a girlfriend of mine in Phoenix, and she went through a divorce. Her husband, she actually helped him set up his business. He's a hair stylist for women, a beautician, and he's good. He used to do my hair, and I had met him way before I met her because he used to do one of my girlfriends who is a flight attendant. He used to do her hair back when we used to work at the bank together, worked at Chase. And it was funny because me and his ex-wife, which we became friends, she is what's the word I want to use? She and I worked together we started working together at a cellular company. Then later on we ended up working at Charles Schwab together. And she actually referred me into Schwab. And she actually referred me into Wells out here because she does fraud for Wells in Arizona. Well, when she got divorced from him, and I knew things about his childhood from when they first got married. And again, a lot of people when I did ministry, I told them, "You tell me your childhood, I'll tell you the problem." And so when she got divorced from him, she was trying to force him to be a father. She was trying to force him to do the things that a father should do. And I told her, I said, "Look, if that man does not," and I'm using man loosely. Whenever I use the word man, understand sometimes I use it as what it's supposed to be, and sometimes I use it loosely. So it's just a grown ass male. If that man does not want to raise his children, you can't force somebody to do what they don't want to do. But also, and especially after my experience dealing with Grumpy, I realized, which is what I realized right off the cap, you can't force people to be what they're not. And sometimes it's a detriment to try to force somebody who's effed up to try to be a parent. It is sometimes in the best interest of that child that that person is not in their life. With that being said, I believe the Bible talks about a ram in the bush. If y'all know what that is, that's when was it Abraham was to take Isaac or whoever and sacrifice him at an altar, right? Which is supposed to be it's kind of a foreshadowing of what's going to happen to Christ that God is going to take his son Jesus and sacrifice him for for the redemption of man's sins, okay? So when God gave the command for Abraham to sacrifice, I believe it's Isaac. I believe it's Isaac. I could be wrong right now in the names. When he went to do that, what he did was he needed a sacrifice. and he put a ram in the bush. Okay, that means that he put an alternative sacrifice in order for Abraham not to sacrifice his own child. Okay, and again, it's a foreshadowing for upcoming of Christ to come and hang on a cross in order to redeem man. So God says, I'm a sacrifice a part of myself, my child, my son, Jesus, to save y'all. Okay, that's pretty much what it is, and to cover your sins. Okay, but the metaphor of the ram in the bush is that God always has a provision. He has, if something is missing, He has a ram in the bush for you. So the ram in the bush for me were my grandparents and a lady named Miss Pearlie. Those were my parents in the sense of the mother and father, um um what I see, individuals that I needed in my life. And I think that's why I kind of have an old soul on some stuff. All of the people that spoke into my life, left footprints in my life, and I'm gonna say really parented me in wisdom were my grandparents. They left the footprints. Now again, I had to just recently have a conversation with somebody about the fact that they have a grandparent who adopted them, and that they're saying that his children aren't having anything to do with him. And they're like, well, the children are, and she sees a problem that none of his kids. And I said, wait, you know your grandfather. You don't know him when he was their father. Because who a person was in their younger days, in their early days when they were rearing their children, may be significantly different from who they were as a parent to that child. And so a lot of times, I hate to say this, some grandparents are making up for their F ups that they did with their own children. And so they make that up in what they do with their grandchildren. So you may know one person, but the children may know another. It's just like me and my brothers. They know one aspect of my mother, they don't know the aspect that I know fully. So we have to be careful when we presume. Now, in the case of Grumpy, Grumpy don't have a clue on how to be a grandfather or a father. He sucks on all levels, even to this day. He just sucks. His thing just get kids some money and get the hell away from him. When my grandfather, my mother's father, I didn't know his father, but I knew my mother's father, and that's the closest thing I had as a child to what a father and a man was. When my grandfather saw me, how Papa baby, how Papa baby, put your hand in Papa's pocket. What I got? What I got? I pull out some money, and my grandfather he showed me love, and and that's another reason my mother probably also didn't care for me. Her parents they wanted to adopt me because they didn't feel that she was where she needed to be to raise a child because of her age, and she said no. But my grandparents truly showed me love. His mother, I mean, this is the same woman he said stabbed his daddy in the leg with a knife. I'm like, my grandma? I was in shock. I this You'll meet my grandma. She's this nice little Christian lady. Wouldn't hurt a fly that I know of. I don't know the younger Marie. I know the older Marie. I know the woman who's lived her mistakes. I know the woman who became Christian at some point. I know the woman who prayed on her knees and fell asleep. I know that woman. I don't know the woman who stabbed his daddy in the leg. So who she was in her youth may be distinctly different of who she is in her older days. I'm very different from what I was in my 20s. In my tw- in my 20s, I was probably more into trying to show off and be cool. And I was a nerdy show off. I wasn't My cool was different from other cool. I mean, people consider me very cool. Even the churches, they be like, you are cool as hell. Because my personality is kind of laid back. And I'm usually really quiet when I first meet you. So when they see me when I was at church, people like they always all the kids at the churches that I went to, they thought I was the coolest person ever. Vicky and them, they like you be a cool mom. Not necessarily. I would be a good mother, but I ain't about a bunch of BS. So I would probably be a strong disciplinarian, and that might make my kids hate me. And I'd probably be very overprotective. I'll be honest because of what I've been through. Oh, if it's his father, like I said, don't, don't get it twisted, V. Griffith. The Smith boys apparently out of Oklahoma were some hot ass. They were a hot ass mess. If she stabbed them, there was a reason for that crap. Trust me. It did. But from what I get, my on my grandmother's side, they off the chain. His people, both sides off the chain. Who is this on here? Teacup Views. Hey, Teacup, what's up, baby? Welcome to the channel. Thank you, brown sugar. You gonna hunt them down now? Y'all need to. Let me tell you something. And I know somebody said the guy who did anything to you was alive. Let me tell y'all something. And I'm watching it right now. You're a better person. I have zero tolerance for this. Let's see. No, DL Lieberman, there is no escaping childhood trauma. The only thing you can do is you need to grow from it. And I'm listening to people like Ellen DeGeneres who just came out with hers. I was really blown away when I heard Cheryl Underwood's when she talked about how her mother allowed her to basically be raped and then beat her. And then when Ellen was talking about hers, um, I'm not shocked by it. But another person who was abused, like beaten and treated really bad, was Tyler Perry. And if y'all can ever find it on YouTube, it's really good when he's being interviewed about his father, who's most likely not his father. His mother, it sounds like there was a break into the house. His mother was raped, is what it sounds like from what he described, and he is a product of that rape. The guy who was married to his mother treated him like shit because he was the product of that rape. Tyler Perry has since he takes care of this man, giving him a nice living, but he really doesn't have a lot to do with him. But you can hear how broken Tyler still is from the childhood traumas that this man who was probably when he did the DNA test, he found out this guy's not his dad. So whoever raped the mama is most likely Tyler Perry's father. And they probably did not believe in abortion at the time, praise God. I mean, we have an awesome comedic type actor and producer because of that. And like I said, I'm a firm believer some things some things come out of some very bad situations. Um very bad. So me and my mother, I don't really interact with her anymore. I've tried, but she is so malicious and so it's almost like there's a spirit that rises up whenever we're around each other. And I could tell you, like I said, I could tell you stories that would blow, just even from when my grandfather died, he left me in the will. I was the only grandchild in the will. I was left money, I was left property, and I also was on his safety deposit boxes. So the money that went to my aunt and my mom, they couldn't even get to without me, and they tried. They tried to. And then they found out, oh, we got to get a hold of. Well, they call me Doll. We got to get a Doll in order to go pick up because my name is Doll. I'm named after my grandfather Doll. Okay, we got to get a hold of Doll in order to go get this money. There were some issues. My grandfather had a couple of vehicles, and he had like a Cadillac. He had an old truck, and I said, "Well, I would like Papa's old truck." We used to go do laundry in the old truck. I didn't want the Cadillac. I wanted the old truck. It was old, like I think it was a Chevy or a Ford, one of them old 50 something Ford Chevys. Well, my uncle, who is adopted, and I'm not judging, he's still family. He wasn't left any property because he wasn't interacting with my grandfather. My grandfather couldn't even ever get hold of him. So he didn't leave him anything. He left the girl something. He left me something because he said, "You don't have a daddy. You don't have a father. You're basically your father is so absent. You don't have a daddy." And so, and just telling this story about my mother, how malicious she is, and how much assholes some of her siblings are. When my grandfather died, remember he was shot and killed in Arizona. I said, "Well, I'll take the truck." I just wanted the truck, and they could do whatever they want with the other car, the Cadillac. I didn't care. My uncle had the nerve to then, I guess, tell my mama he was going to take the truck later on without ever consulting me. And so I said, I was kind of pissed off about it because the way they did it was kind of dirty. And I was like, no. So then he gonna come, well, will you get what we give you? Oh no, nigga, there's a will. Excuse me, y'all. God forgive me. I'm going here. So then my mother kind of came off the same way. And so I said, really? Whose name is on that box where all your money is sitting? I was the only one who could legally get into the box where the CDs were sitting, where the money was sitting. Okay, there was CD in my name. There were CDs in my mother's name, CDs in my aunt name. Y'all know what a CD is, a certificate of deposit. Okay, and he had maybe 50 to 100 grand up in there in CDs for all of us. Okay, now the only person that didn't have a CD was my uncle. He didn't have a piece of property even left to him. I got a piece of property. My aunt got 2 pieces of property, my mother got 2 pieces of property, my uncle got 0 pieces of property, except they did give him the house that my grandfather was living in at the time that had belonged to a great-grandmother. Um, what my mother did, this is how malicious she is. When the beef happened with the truck, instead of giving it to me or my uncle, she took it and gave it freely to some white guy at her church. My mom's an asshole. She an asshole. She gave the truck free to a dude at her church, a collector type truck. I mean, it wasn't fixed up or anything. It was original, no rust. Great. Yeah, that's what she did. Yeah, crazy as hell. Cray cray. So, like I said, every time I get around her, she does something. She's evil. She just does some evil stuff. It's like a spirit rises up in her, and this other person comes to the table who will either do or say something to be just an asshole to me. So I finally decided, and after I really went back in my head and connected the dots of what my aunt was trying to tell me when she shared with me about stuff that my mother had told her. She shared it with me at age 15, and I hadn't really connected the dots. And when she finally did that, I realized that this is somebody I just don't want anything to do with. So, and my brothers will take care of her if something happens to her. I'm trying, and like I said, I've tried to forgive as far as, and God forgive me, I'm trying to let it go. But I'm honest about what took place. It's just like Monty. Every time he's doing something now, I just sit back and look at him. And I hate to laugh. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to take pleasure in it, but I've already said I sat and had a come to Jesus meet with him. I said, "You're sitting here and you're crybabying about stuff that you've reaped." I said, "If you would just correct, repent, and correct your behaviors, you probably wouldn't have to keep rolling through the same shit over and again. But if you like it, I love it for you. And there's an old saying, what you reap, you gonna sow, and your chickens are gonna come home to roost. You don't want to change, you want to stay in your foolishness. So God is letting your chickens keep coming back to you. Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo." I think it's impossible to forget. You can eventually forgive people, and what ends up happening is you play things through your head. I realized my mother's parents, they sucked. She was not the favorite child. She was also molested. Something happened to her outside of a church with some stranger, and she got molested. Um, she was not the favorite child. My aunt was the favorite child, so she was treated as second. She did everything she could to get her mom to love her. And my grandmother's favorite child was my aunt. In the end, I know right before my grandmother died, people do weird things, and I remember my mom was sick. She had like a boil or whatever, and my grandmother came by. She cleaned our house. This is her mother. She cooked the dinner for us that night, and that was the last time I saw my grandmother interact with my mom. My mom wouldn't even go over there and speak to her anymore because my mom finally woke up and realized my mother doesn't like me. My mother hates me. But my grandmother came by and did that, hung out at the house that day, and then shortly thereafterwards, she got sick and she died. People do strange things right before they die. It's like there's just something odd. My best friend's father, we talked for hours on the phone. She was in the military. I dreamt his death. I dreamt because God gives me dreams sometimes. And when I dream, it's usually God trying to tell me something. I dreamt his death. I dreamt all of that. And I didn't know it was her. I dreamt the exact time of when she got in and what time she called me to tell me her dad died. Everything right on. I mean, boom, boom, boom. And so, but me and her dad, before he died, we spent like an hour, 2 hours on the phone. I'd never talked to Mr. Reed that long in my life. It was always hello, goodbye. And Jane was in Germany and he was concerned about she found met her husband or to be husband. And he was concerned about this ninja. Who's this ninja that's messing with my daughter? And he, she's in Germany and he didn't know if this was a good man or not. He was concerned about his baby. And I was her best friend. So he called me. Me and him talked. We talked for a minute. And so he raised all his concerns, and then very shortly thereafter, I didn't even. I mean, it was like it wasn't even a week, and I had Jane was calling me and told me, you know, on the phone and crying, my daddy's dead. I'm like, whoa, whoa. And I looked at the clock, the exact time of the dream that was in the dream, everything about the exact, because that was a call that I got in my dream telling me somebody was dead. I originally thought it was going to be my grandmother's, her husband. I didn't like that man either, but I thought it was going to be him and it was her father. And all I could say to her, it was you. It was you. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I had a dream that somebody called me at this time in the morning telling me somebody had passed away. It's you. I thought she was calling me from Germany. She was already here. She had gotten, I guess, Red Cross or whatever, and they got her flown back home. So she didn't even get to say goodbye to her dad. Who's in here now? I got somebody else in here. Uh, Game Chaser, welcome to the channel, man. And welcome to anybody else who's come in because I'm just shooting the shiz a little bit. But we're talking about family stuff. I just I think that we have to, you have to weigh out things, and you can see one person, like I talked to one individual, and you see that your grandparent is this wonderful individual. That might not be who they originally were. They might have been a whole nother cup of tea. So that might not be who your grandparent really was. Your grandparent could have been a horrible parent, and now in their old age, you're trying to make it like right now. My apparently my mother, she's got two grandkids by one of my brothers, and you know her daughter-in-law, my sister-in-law, says, you know, this woman loves my children. That's all she knows. That's all she cares. My grandmother loved me. My grandmother, I never saw. I I would have thought my grandmother was Christian all her life. I didn't know about the stabbing in the leg. I didn't know about any of that. You know, and I hate to say, nor do I care because I don't know that person. I know the person I knew as my grandmother. I don't know the person who left her son with her mother, and I don't know where she was at for whatever portion of his life. I don't know that woman. I know the woman I saw on her knees, his mother. I saw on her knees praying, falling asleep on the Bible. I know that woman. I know that woman who was the missionary lady. I know that woman. I know that woman who prayed for me and several kin folks and cousins in the family. I know that woman. I know the woman who cooked meals for folks and would give you money if you was tight and didn't have that much money because my grandmother was a help. She cleaned houses for old white people. I know that woman. I don't know nobody else. I don't know nobody else. So I don't know the woman that my father knew. I don't know that. I don't know the woman who stabbed his daddy in the leg. I don't know her. I don't know the woman who sent her son away. And I'll be honest, I think this is some of my dad's resentment for women and why he treats women the way, and his disrespect for women. His mother sent him and said, I'm gonna see how much trouble you can get in on the dairy farm because I guess supposedly he was acting up. But honestly, I think truly the reason my grandmother sent him away is because the man she married didn't want to raise him. She was married to somebody, he could have jumped in his ass. If you marry like Bill raised his children. He raised other men's children. If he was married to a woman, those kids were just like they were his kids. He didn't make he I mean, he knows they're distinctly his stepchildren, but he's paid for wedding and colleges for children he did not biologically create it, but he was married to their mother. And therefore he is their dad. That's a man. And that's a father. That's a stepfather and a father. Big difference. Let me read back. Y'all, I'm gonna pull this down. I want to read comments. Teacup, I'm not. I'm in Texas right now. I'm in West Texas. I'm from the West Coast, though. I'm from Arizona. Okay, Rochelle, you understand. Yep. You can have a person who's a crappy father, but a great dad. Just going back and reading comments, guys. Sorry, y'all see my hand. Y'all see my calluses from the truck. I wear gloves, but I still get them. Yeah, Dale Lieberman, that's probably why I'm very sarcastic too. It's a way of handling the damages. A lot of people that's why you find a lot of comedians who are sarcastic. A friend of mine used to tell me comedians are angry, and I agree with them. It's a way of covering up your anger or your hurt, and all hurt is covered up. All anger is covered up hurt. Thank you, MJ63, for the prayers. Just going back and seeing. And Shay E, that's how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be protective of your children. An animal will protect its young. Why is it that we allow some crazy ass to come in? But a lot of females, that's they need a male, and I hate to say it. We gotta forgive. I see DL. You put I would not forgive the woman. We have to forgive. We all have to forgive. And let me tell you something. They hopefully they get it right because if they don't, the Bible tells you it'd be better than what did it say? You'd be better than oh shoot. Basically, if you do something to little ones, it's like hanging a millstone around your neck. If I remember correctly, there's a Bible scripture about it. You gotta handle your stuff. Yeah, and you have to teacup. You hold on. That's what kills me when they want to treat us dumb out here. And there's a bunch of folks out here in this industry, like teacup. You talking about you got a degree, you make more money in trucking than you do as a in psychology. But you have to forgive because if we don't, what's going on with my mother? Because she let both her parents go to the grave angry and bitter at both of them. She hadn't spoken to my grandfather. She didn't speak to her mama, and both of those people went to the grave. Her father was killed, and her mother died of bowel blockage. And my mother wouldn't even call when she got the call that my grandmother was sick because she had a beef. She was pissed off. You have to forgive. So my mother now has guilt from those deaths because she had not let go of. Let me see what's going on. She had not let go of she hadn't let go of her stuff. So you have got to forgive. You have got to let it go. You can't hang on to it. If you hang on to it, it will ultimately it's basically almost like it'll kill you. You can't keep holding on to the drama because if you do, ultimately it's gonna kill you. It's just it is, and you also risk your eternal soul behind BS. It's not worth it. You're risking it behind somebody else's stuff. You've got to let it go, and you also have to remember God gets the final word. And hopefully they work it out. They repent of it. Also, let me tell you this, and it's something that is hard to get in our mind and our spirit. And some of y'all might not be Christian. I am, and I know I cuss, but I do have some strong Christian views, and I believe what the Bible tells you about stuff. I need to work on the cussing now. And normally it's in this industry. I don't know why it comes out. Normally, if I was doing something else, I probably wouldn't swear. The Bible says to you, and I'll see if I can remember it. The fight that we have is not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities in the dark places. What it means is there are things behind the scenes that we don't visually see that basically control people's actions. If that person is unaware of those things, it runs them. Sometimes they don't even understand why they allow the stuff they allow, okay? Why they do the stuff that they do. Monty is a compulsive liar. He his mind is on a whole different ball game. He knows something's wrong, but he doesn't tangibly know how to deal with it. I'm telling you, there's some mental issues deeply seated with him. Just watching him with how he the throwing away the soap, how he handles ice. Like I don't know if I told you, once the ice gets down to about this much in a big ice bag, he throws it away. Or right now he's got him balled up in the corner because I told him, "What are you doing? Why are you throwing this ice away?" Now I don't want the ice anymore because it's pissy poop ice. Because I don't know when he washed his hands, whatever. Like I got my thing in the back, so I'm gonna stop tonight and put some ice in it. I have my little thing from the truck. I don't want none of the ice in the house. Actually, I'm making some ice in trays. I want no ice from that house. Zero. Zero ice. I want no ice. Because you put your hands in like today, I had some chips and salsa, and he was like, he wanted to taste the salsa. I was like, oh, no, no, here's a chip with some salsa. I'm gonna give you that. Because I don't know if you washed your hands. I didn't hear that water run. And we done already talked about the pissy poop ice and you and the pissy hands and not washing your hands. We done already talked about this. So right now you're not putting your hands in my food because I'm not gonna get hepatitis or whatever from you. If I get it, it ain't gonna be from you because of foolishness. I'm not. But these people, and I don't think you're unaware, but sometimes people don't understand the thing that drives them, why they're assholes. Why and the other problem in our culture, and especially I'm gonna say black, I can't talk about Latino. I'm gonna presume y'all may have the same problem, is that we refuse to go sit down and talk to people about our stuff. So we don't get counseling. And no offense to if y'all Anglo on here, please don't take offense to what I'm saying. White people, y'all get up there. I was a child and my mother punched me in the eye, and so from there on, y'all will do that. And I'm not knocking it because actually it's a blessing that you do that because you need to talk through and get through the stuff. My counseling has been with the Lord. I mean, honestly, have I well, let me not lie. In my teenage years when everything happened, my mom kicked me out the house at 15. She beat the shit out of me, and I had just gotten and I called my grandfather, child protective service came in, and it got bad. She was so abusive. And I ended up living with my grandfather at age 15 until I graduated high school. Okay. And she told him, Shannon's not a bad kid. I was a very good kid. I was a good kid. I'm not sleeping around. I'm not doing drugs. I was a very good kid. I got burnt out on the abuse. I did. And I thought of some evil shit in conjunction with her. And God, like I said, God intervened. I didn't realize that everything that happened, me ending up living with my grandfather, all that happened was probably the best thing that happened to me because had that not happened, I probably would be in handcuffs and I probably would be possibly on death row or something else for doing something evil with that woman because I was becoming more and more mentally broken, and I didn't you don't realize it. You're in madness and sometimes you don't realize the madness you're in and the why. Like I said, it took me to 50 years old to put the puzzle pieces together of the allowed molest, of the you knew this man was a Chester the molester, you knew this man had attraction for your child, and you got with him even suspecting that there's possibly something him or his family members would do. That means if I identified at 7 that something wasn't right with this guy's family, you identified it too. But it was so important for you to have the dick in your house and say you had a male or what you called a man and somebody that paid attention to you, you were willing to put your child at risk because you're so effed up. See, that's the problem is that some of us don't forgive because we don't look back and understand that person is damaged and they got there somehow. It's like my best friend, she hates Trump. She can't stand him. And I told her, I said, I actually feel sorry for him. I'm not saying I agree with everything he's doing. I feel sorry for him. I'm going to tell you right now, watching him, he's a grown narcissistic little boy. He's spoiled, and I'm telling you right now, he was not raised. He wasn't raised, and so because he didn't have anybody speak into his life, he's the person he is today. He's damaged. He's damaged. He's damaged. Damaged. Jennifer, welcome to the channel. And we use that term loosely. They don't pick men, they pick grown males. A man would never do that to you. God had to really show me, he had to sit me down and show me the difference between a man and a male. And I used to, I'm AME licensed. So my ministry license without the AME. And I've met some men in my life because I hated what I thought was men. What I really hate is I hate grown males and I hate grown pervy males. I don't have a I respect a man. I've met men in my life. And I have respect for them. It's the difference is that we use the term woman and we use the term man very loosely. We got a lot of grown females and not a lot of grown women. We got a lot of grown males and not a lot of grown men. There's a difference between the two. My father's a grown little boy. He's just a grown male. Trump is a grown little boy. He's just a grown male. A man would handle things much differently. A man will A man takes accountability for his family, his children, himself, his actions, his behavior. A man, that's what a man does. Grown males do what Grumpy does. And a grown male also respects a woman, whether it's a woman he's with or any kind of female. He has a respect for him. A grown male does not. He doesn't even know where to begin. There's a difference. We have a world full of grown males and not grown men. Men take accountability. Women take accountability. Males and females, they're just grown children with no direction. So we end up having to forgive. You have to forgive because you don't know where the damages come from. In addition, you don't know what spirits are driving people. And that's the other thing. And if a person is not aware, alert, all they're doing is riding a treadmill of the same stuff. We also are dealing with generational curses that roll down. And people don't realize they just it's like I have family who's hood as hell, right? They're all on the system. There's a group of my family that's on the system on Monty's side. They're all on the system. They all live on the system. They're hoarders, roaches, sick. They like to be. I mean, it's disgusting. Really, some of them are very sweet, good-hearted, open-hearted people, but they're on the same treadmill that they were born into. And they don't want to get off and they don't have a clue on the hell why they're there. They just keep riding it as if that's the normalcy and they don't know how to get out. They just stay on the same thing. What they don't realize is the spirit and whoever they are and all the generational curses, that's what they're living on. And until you're willing to really sit down and say, have that aha moment and sit down with somebody and say, I'm broken. Like I said, it's just like an alcoholic. The first thing an alcoholic has to do is admit, I'm an alcoholic. Now you have to take the steps to get some freedom. And the problem is, most people don't even realize they're broken. Their brokenness has become their normality. So, like Grumpy, he's a very broken individual. This is a jacked up individual. His brokenness is his normalcy. So everything he does is his normal. And so he is too much work to come out of his normal. He doesn't realize that he would pray when he became Christian that God would free him from his sexual addiction. The freedom from his sexual addiction came with the impotency from the prostate cancer. He doesn't realize that was the blessing. What now he does know now that I'll speak to the enemy. Well, God may have allowed the enemy to do it, or he may have put this to happen. Kind of like what happened with Job, right? Whatever it is, a blessing is going to come out of it. Well, the blessing is you got the deliverance from your generational curse and your sexual sins. Because in his family, a lot of the males are very sexually driven. So you got the deliverance from what you asked God to deliver you from, because that's what God's spirit worked in you to do is to pray about your situation. But then Monty got mad. That's what's going on right now. And he got mad because he got delivered from his BS and he wants to go, you got comfortable in it. I'm guilty as well. I got delivered in some marriage, which is why I don't have that thing to date girls anymore. I got some I don't want to be bothered. I've been there, done that. I'm good now. He got delivered in an area. But now, and I went through the same thing for a minute. The difference is I allow God to work with me and show me. And now I'm like, wait a minute. Like I said, lessons I'm learning from my earthly father that God is showing me through the lenses as a godly father to show me the issues with my earthly father. I see it. Monty's pissed off that he can't go and lay on a woman anymore. He can't go. So now he does nothing but sit in a chair and sleep. He don't even go to church. He don't work in the pulpit anymore. He does nothing in ministry anymore. He sleeps in the chair and sleeping away to a casket because basically, insolent little child he is, I'm going to stick my seat in the sand. And God, since you took this away from me, I'm not going to do shit. God forgive me, but that's what it is. It is. That's exactly what it is. It's the and you got the so some of us, like I said, I could write books. We get deliverance in an area, but once we get the deliverance, we don't know how to walk in it. And it's a scary place. It's a scary place to walk in something new and different because all you know is your generational curse. You don't know how to walk sober. Come on now. You don't know how to now look at life through the new glasses. It's too scary. It's uncomfortable because it's different. And it means I also have to do work. I have to relearn how to live now differently out of my dysfunction. And that takes work. It's just like losing weight. When you go for the lap band, my brother did the gastric sleeve. You now have to learn how to re-eat, do your diet differently. All that stuff. You have to Bible calls it renewing of the mind. That's what it is. You have to renew your mind, renew your thinking. He don't want to do that because the memories that are comfortable him from his sin life or from his days when he was out screwing everything is laying on women and screwing them. His addiction is comfortable to him because that's what he knows. And now that he can't do that, I'm pissed off. I'm not going to do shit. I'm going to sit in this chair and sleep my way to a casket. So because you're still being so insolent, now on top of that, I'm going to not only make you impotent, I'm going to make you incontinent. You can't stand over that thing you worship between your legs that you feel made you a man. Now you're pissing in a bag and on yourself. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being real. And like I said, God is showing me if we aren't willing to walk in the areas that God starts working on us in, you become grumpy. And basically, I'm gonna put my feet in the sand. And since I can't, it'll be like me saying, okay, I don't have this, that, and the other thing that I wanted back in the day in a female. I can't find that, so I'm just not gonna do nothing. No, I can't do that. But again, God had to sit me down and do some. I between age, I think 45 and 50, God took me through. I went through some really major stuff with like I said, it was almost like somebody was playing a movie in my head and showing me the bits and pieces. And I had to put when the puzzle was put together before me, and I just sat there and I was like, wow. I mean, I went through hatred and anger about my mother, and then finally, I've got to a point where I forgive you because she's just as broken from her childhood. This doesn't mean that I have to put myself in the pathway because whenever I'm around her, the other whatever spirit or whatever it is, it comes up and it's always some drama and BS. So I'm not going to go around that. I don't have to go, but from a distance, I forgive you. I forgive you. Now it's between you and the Lord. I hope you work it out. I hope you work out whatever your issues are before you close your eyes in death. I don't wish hell on nobody. I don't wish hell on Grumpy. But Grumpy, if he don't wake up, now he probably will might make it in. I don't know. God knows his heart. I don't know his heart. Monty lies so much. I don't know where he's at in his walk. He might make it in. He might. I hope he gets it right. But is that going to fix who he is down here? Not necessarily. This guy is so stuck. It's like for him going into a nursing home. God bless him if they ever put him in a nursing home. He's such an asshole. He's a needy asshole. And even once it's times for him to go, Monty's gonna have to be probably stroke driven or where he can't for him to go to nursing home. He would probably check himself out and be in that apartment peeing and pooping on himself. Right now, I can tell you, to me, he's at nursing home stage. He needs to be in a facility. Right now, I can tell you that. I'm watching him around his house. He needs to be in a facility. You don't want to wash your clothes. You don't want to cook for yourself. You don't want to manage your diabetes. You don't your pissy poopy stuff, your pissy stuff. You're not handling that correctly. You need to be in a home. He needs to be somewhere where somebody takes care of him. Thank you, one magical girl. And I'm gonna get off here. Henderson Trucking, I've seen them. I don't know anything about them. Did you Google them to see if you can find anything? Sometimes Glassdoor, hey Smooth Trucking. Sometimes the Glassdoor, Indeed, and there might be some driver reviews on it. I would Google them, I would YouTube them, and see what you can find out about them. I also can reach out to Trucker Bill. Bill is from California, and Bill is like a wealth of knowledge when it comes to different trucking companies. Depends on how big they are. He might know something about them. And if you shoot me an email at truckerdoll@gmail.com so I remember, and I can reach out to him. And when I do my next live or in the background of your email, I'll reach out to Bill and I'll see what I can find out if he knows anything about them. Or I also could reach out to Jose because Jose lives in California. I don't know if he'll know anything about them either. But I have seen their trucks in Cali, so I'm familiar with them. I just don't know anything about the company. And also, V Griffith, go to the Trucker 411 and put that question in there and see if anybody can give you details in there because there's some truckers in there. And if you hook up to me on in there, you friend me, I can add you to some black female groups and some black CDL holder groups if you're African American. If you're a woman, because say V Griffith, I'm presuming you're female. But if you're, let me know female or male because I have different groups I'm part of. So I have like the black CDL holders that can be doesn't matter what your gender is, you can be part of that. I have I'm part of a female trucking group and there are owner operators in there and there's other company drivers in there. So any one of them might even work for them or know someone who works for them. And then on the 411, the trucker 411, we have people in there too. So I don't know, but if you like I said, you if you link to me, you guys can friend me on Facebook. You can just do it Trucker Doll, and then my name on Facebook is Getting Saucy. That's my barbecue sauce. It's not anything funky or weird. But if you hook to me and friend me on there or send me a message and we get you connected and just let me know, hey, I need to get connections because I got questions. I'll hook you to those groups and you can post in those in the Facebook pages. So the two I usually recommend is Black CDL holders if you're African American. Uh, there's a female group I'm part of. I'd probably put you part of that. I got another couple of trucking groups that I'm part of. So you could put it in there and I'll hook you to those and then you could ask the questions. So I don't mind doing that. Just hook up to me on there and let me know it's you. Because if I get like a friend request and I don't know who the hell you are, I don't accept a friend request. Good. Yeah. So some black female. Well, I have one group that's a woman's group. Then I have the black CDL holders group. And then I have the Trucker 411. And then I have some other groups, but I really don't interact with those other groups that much. And then some people had asked me to be parts of some other groups, but then they had a lot of sexual content in there, and I'm not the nasty trucker. So I easily disconnected myself from that. I don't like pervy shit. So I basically disconnected. And I have like people who actually friended me who are guys who were cool when they first started, and then they start putting a lot of sexual content up because that's stuff they're into and I had to block them because I don't want to see that stuff. It's just something I'm not interested in. And they were doing it wasn't just to me, it was just generally what they post on their Facebook. I removed their ass. So yeah, I'm not part of any kind of pervy group. I'm not part of any kind of other groups. And I have people who try to put me with, because they knew I was in a gay lifestyle for a while. They try to put me in I'm not a part of that. I wasn't part of it. I'm pretty much CDL stuff. I got some big truck cooking and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm good. Yeah, just what you do is you hit me up. You can search me on Facebook under Trucker Doll. You will hook to me. If you want, send me a message, but let me know it's you. Like this is Teacup Views. I saw I came to your channel. This is V Griffith. And because I know on Facebook you guys might be under your real names or under other names. So like Larry Smith, who is actually a female, I think that's her ex-husband's sign on she still uses or something like that here on YouTube, but I know that Larry Smith by her real name on Facebook because she connected to me on Facebook and we talked just the other day. Yesterday? Yesterday. I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday. So I know Larry Smith is not a guy. I know it's a girl. Um, but she befriended me and say, Larry, she said, this is Larry Smith. My name is. And then we ended up talking, and she asked me questions about the starter company that I was at, which she was thinking about going to. So we've actually ended up creating I would say a general, what do I don't call it? I'll say friend, but kind of semi friendship, acquaintance. So she's become kind of like a good acquaintance on here. So she hooked up to me on Facebook, Facebook, Facebook. And so I friended her, and then we either she friended me or I friended her, and then I connected her to those groups. I added her to the Trucker 411, added to the female black female CD or the CDL female group I'm part of. I added her to Big Truck Cooking. I added her to Black CDL holders. And those are the main groups that I usually watch. There's some other ones I have. There's Trucking Trips and Reefers. There's trucking rate lanes and stuff like that for like owner ops. I'm part of those groups, but I don't pay attention as much to those groups. Probably once if I go into an owner op situation or at least purchase op situation, I'll probably look at those groups a lot more again. As of right now, I'm part of them, but I don't really pay attention to the content as much. But for your questions, um, I would probably put you with the CDL female group I'm with, Trucker 411, and then the Black CDL holders, and then what? Hey, Shayna H, welcome to the channel. Is it Shauna? Shayna H, welcome to the channel. I would probably put you with part of that group to try to help you where you could post your information and ask questions. Well, thank you very much, Shayna. I appreciate it. Yeah, I, I, I'm gonna be honest, and that's one of the things that bothers me. Sometimes people presume that if you're in trucking, you're not intelligent. There's a young lady on here that just says, she's a trucker. I believe that's what she was insinuating, and she's got a degree in psychology. It's like I'm so blown away at how truckers are treated, and like dispatchers treat you like you stupid. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have a college degree. I have college credits. I have executive training from a bank. When I was at Chase, they sent me through executive training classes, which helped me with my management background. And so, and then I've worked for other jobs where they sent me to trainings. So I drive a truck because I like driving a truck. I like the freedom of it. I like the peace of it. I like not dealing with corporate politics. And about the only way I probably would go back into corporation if I just had no choice. But sometimes it's really disgusting at how truckers are talked to and treated, and as if we're not intelligent. Now, I'm not saying you made that statement for that reason, but thank you for the compliment. And I think that that compliment says a lot. The young lady that I'm talking to, Nikki, I was talking to Nikki today, and Nikki, I'm going to be able to get back where I'm going. I'm going to be able to get back to Phoenix and do home times in Phoenix from here on out. I'll be home timing all over because I'm actually going to be home timing in other places. But now I'll be able to home time back in Phoenix again, and I'll home time here in Lubbock to check on Grumpy occasionally, but I'll have to stay in the pissy poopy house. Um, but when I home time in Phoenix, I'm going to be sitting down and interviewing Nikki. And guys, when you hear this young woman's life story and you hear her talk, the level of intelligence of this sister and what she's been through and her business sense of what she's taught herself from her first go round as a lease purchase owner op with her own authority and what she's learned the good bad and indifferent and her next moves, and then also learn where she came from, what child, look, I be on the phone like this. When I get off the phone, the baby just got me blown away. The baby is bad, and the baby early 30s. The baby is bad. And I told her, I said, "Little sister, you don't even know how cold you are because the level of intelligence of that young woman and if she tells you her early years and the stuff she been through and the stuff child, woo, she make you want to get up and do the little Jesus dance at church. You like share your testimony, young sister. Health challenges and some other challenges and overcame them both. I'm like, I am so blown away by you. Just absolutely blown away. I told her, I said, "You are so intelligent. If I was back in corporate America and this young woman came and worked under me, my first thing is to groom her into management. She is on hit." That's all. The baby is bad. The baby is just bad. So I'll be interviewing her when I get back to Phoenix. God willing, angels around her, to take care of her, watch over, because y'all need to hear that story. Y'all want to hear some testimony and some story about triumphs, failures, picking yourself up, and going back. 35 years old buying her own home. done taking a bump, but getting back up. We fall down, but we child. I had to tell remind her that today. She said, the baby bad. Trucking's gonna be that, and I had somebody I'm trying to see this. Shayna, I had somebody say to me, in a comment, this is not working for you, so why don't you leave? Some companies won't work for you. Bill told me, because Bill know I get frustrated and I just want to leave the industry altogether. And Bill said, "Do you know I've been in trucking 42 years?" He said, "If I go back and tell you the number of companies and the times I changed jobs because of company treatment, the BS, the games, all of that, that's trucking." He said, "But you're gonna find something, you stick with it, and maybe you work there 5, 6 years." He was with Size 17 years before he had to actually go to another company. Bill has done everything from being a coach, like a bus driver for touring, a regular bus driver for the city. He's done oil field, he's done reefer, he's done food grade tanker, he's done doubles, triples. He's been to Canada. I don't know if he went to Mexico, but I know he went into Canada. He's hauled a bunch of stuff. Bill has done it all of 42 years of trucking. And he told me, "You won't even believe the number of companies I've been through. Shit happens." And these companies, they do all sorts of shit. And they make you go ahead and put the middle finger up. I mean, I hate to do that, but they do. And he says, so just hang in there, because eventually you're going to find a company like he had with Saya, where he was with him 17 years. Had he not bumped the truck with his car, he'd still be with Saya. He going to close it out probably with Ashley. So what he went through in his early stages of jumping from company, he went to different companies. He's on for Celadon. He's got pictures of him with the father who started Celadon as one of the employees of the company or whatever, with him and the head guy. So, like Bill said, and eventually something happened in Celadon with him and the no driver man, and he went on and moved on to something else. That's trucking. So yeah, you gonna change companies. Exactly. And that's exactly, like I said, the company that I would sit here, I don't think the company's bad. The owner needs not to be a dispatch manager. He needs to be in the background driving them folks in that office crazy. He don't need to be messing with his drivers. Right. I already got another gig. So I'm not even I'll be in my other gig here probably within the next week or so. But you don't need to, you know, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll tell y'all about it once I'm fully out of here. I gotta work on my trip stuff tonight. Get that. I'm gonna drop that off at their box probably tomorrow night, or Thursday night. I gotta drop all my trips and stuff off, and I'm done. I left my seatbelt extender in there. I'm hoping I still there. I need to go pick that up, and then I'm turning in all this stuff. And it's no ill will. I think, like I said, his equipment was stealth. If anything, some of the big boys could learn is the maintenance of his trailers, and his equipment that he gave you was primo. APU, refrigerator. Um, like I said, I'm praying that the next company, I know they have some 2019 and newer Freightliners. I'm praying for one of those newer Freightliners where I can put my fridge in. And when I get back to Phoenix, go to my storage unit, get my fridge, put it on board, and then as long as they have the APUs, and the APUs, the inverter, and the plugs working, I'm gonna put my microwave up in there. I'm praying that's what they have. Praying. I know they have to have an inverter because I'm a CPAP user, but I'm praying. Um, and like somebody asked me about, well, how you gonna do the drug screening and your hair is not that long? I mean, people, I don't know. And I guess I don't know who asked me that question. It might be an innocent question. I do grow hair under my arms. And since I'm not in a bathing suit and I'm not really all that girly of a girl, they can pull a hair from under my arm if the hair on my head ain't long enough. You got hair in other places they could also pluck too. Let's just go on and be real. So I'm not really worried about that. They'll figure it out. The eyebrows, hell, I don't know what they need. The eyelash, I don't know. I don't really care, and I don't know if they do hair follicle tests. And I'm not worried about a hair follicle test because guess what? I don't have no issues. I'm not. I don't smoke nothing. Never have, never will. Oh, okay. 7 days out. That's yeah. Well, that's not that long. 7 days out ain't nothing. Cause see, I like to be out for 5 weeks, and I'm gonna go back to that too. I'm just resetting over the road. And thank you, Shayna. Or Shauna. I don't know if it's Shayna or Shauna. Thank you very much. Cause and I know it's gonna work out. My goal with this next company, I may not be there but a year or so, but because my goal is eventually, I think I am gonna go back. Es- Especially because I really want a truck where I have my refrigerator in it. I want a microwave, and I realize that a lot of the bigger companies, the only way I'm gonna get that is I have to be lease purchase. I also want the capability to say I don't want to run the East Coast. Just keep me everything west of Pennsylvania. I don't care about north and south. Just keep me west of Pennsylvania. And in the winter months, I really don't want to avoid the 70 or the 80 if I can avoid it. So keep me west of Pennsylvania. That's my goal. That's my goal. Anyway, y'all, let's see here. Well, thank you very much, and congratulations to your wife as well. Oh, V Griffith, it was it you? Okay, because I was like, I thought somebody was being sarcastic. I just read the note real quick. Um, you can take a hair from anywhere on the body. It doesn't matter. I don't know what the length of the hair has to be. I have absolutely no idea. Um, but they can take a hair from your underarm. They can take a hair from the private parts. They, as long as the hair comes from somewhere, I don't know if they can take an eyebrow. It has to be a hair. I don't know how long that hair has to be, and they pluck it. So my understanding is they pluck it with tweezers and they put it in there. So they're getting it down to the root. It's not a cut. It's a pluck. That's my understanding. And all they need is one hair. And then from that hair, they look to see what your drug usage is. And I don't know how long it goes back. It goes back pretty good length of time from what I understand. They cut it. Oh, if he had probably very long hair, they might have cut it for that reason. But I think they plucked it, didn't they? I thought they plucked it from the root, from what I was told. They went up there and pulled one out and then put it in the follicle jar. Oh, 3 months, yeah. So I'm not even worried about that. Oh, okay. Well, she can get up there with a tweezer and pull that bad boy out. Ain't gonna hurt me none. I don't care. Just pluck this shit out. I don't care. So I'm not really worried about it. They can pluck it. If they can take a hair from a private area. They can take a hair from under your arm. Don't matter. Okay. I thought they plucked it. I didn't know. Well, with mine, they might have to pluck it. Shit, I don't know. I don't even worry about. And I don't know if I have to do a hair follicle test. I don't know if it's a piss test. I have to ask. I have to ask Jay because I don't know. I have no idea. He can probably tell me more. I don't know. It might be a piss in the cup. It might be a hair follicle test. I'm not worried about that. That's never an issue for me because I will pass that. That's not. You come back and tell me I got drug issues. We got Houston. We got a problem. We got a problem. I ain't got no drug issues. I've worked for some major Fortune 500 companies. They've been pissed in cups all over and had randoms. Please. Yeah, they might have to pluck some from me. Oh, razor? Oh yeah, if they want to shave shit. I got some look. I got some clippers. We can just clip it off because I'll shave it down. Ain't no big deal to me. If they want to do that, I mean, it's whatever that stuff is that they told me about. It's starting to come in. I've been using that and brushing it, and that and Grumpy told, "Oh, can you order me?" He grows hair. I'm like, bro, you don't even cut your hair and maintain. You don't need. You don't need this. Oh, then they need to go ahead and they can shave a spot if they want, and then I'll just go back and shave it down. They ain't gonna look. Oh wow. Hey, cat eyes? You coming in late because you know I'm getting ready to get off here. We done been on here a long time. Starbucks is behind me. I'm going here to get Starbucks. I supposed to do laundry. I ain't done the laundry yet. Probably gonna go back to the house and go to sleep because I've just passed out. I went and got and Grumpy. Where you going? And I invited him. He could come because he wants to sit in the house in a chair and do nothing. And I invited him to come with me to go get some Chinese food. Well, just give me a stir fry. I went to my little place. They do a hibachi grill. Had he went with me, we could do the hibachi grill, and I would have just paid for it. And then he's trying to be smooth again and do his little shenanigans. I'm going to do it because I paid for our food yesterday at first because he paid for mine when I left. But it's shenanigans. And I'm gonna go on in here and I'm gonna get me Starbucks right now. I'm gonna pick him something up on the way to the house. But I think I'm just gonna pick him up some spaghetti. Cause he's like, well, you can get me a stir fry, with some child, please. If you don't bring your ass about this house and come and get your shit, I don't know what to tell you. You ain't gotta drive. Okay, V Griffith. Actually, this Starbucks stays open till I think midnight. Remember, this is even though Lubbock sucks, it's a college town, so this Starbucks stays open late, and a lot of the college students from Texas Tech they come in here and study. So I'm getting ready to run in here and go get me some Starbucks. But y'all, we'll do another live hopefully before I leave. So, cause I'll be leaving sometime next week, but I'll do some more lives. I gotta still update the information about them, and I still have to do the compilation of the of my other stuff. And I got the camera that I'm gonna be mounting in the truck where I can do the live views. I got it. The GoPro-ish. I call it the GoPro-ish. I'll probably do a review on it. I gotta go home and or go to the house and actually read on how to use it. And then I gotta find me some editing software for the laptops that I have. So I got some stuff to do, but we're gonna be coming with some new stuff. And Dustin recommended Fiverr, and he wants me to get like something with the trucker doll stuff on it. And I got to figure out the logo. I don't know if I'll do my two and two or I used to do in the beginning when I first started doing the vlogs. I used to tell people, what was my saying? Enjoy the rides and never let people take you on theirs. So enjoy your rides, but don't let other people take you on their ride. Because I dated some females that took me on some roller coasters back in the day. Don't let people take you on their rides. So like Grumpy, I'm not letting you take me on your ride. I don't know if I'll do that or I might just do the two and two. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna talk to whoever the designer is, and we'll figure something out. V Griffith, I ain't gonna really call it a vacation. I got all this laundry back here to go through. I'm at the house going through all the shiznit that was on the truck. When I came in, I had bags and stuff, right? And Grumpy said, "How'd you get all that shit on that truck?" I said, "Well, man, really, everything in them grocery bags is food. You know my fat ass gotta have food on the truck." So I had food up in. I forgot I had some of the stuff up in there. I had food under the bunk, food in those little bins at the edge of the bunk. I forgot I had half the shit up in there. I got up in there. I had like 6 things of salsa, 3 things of sandwich spread, couple of different types of mustard. I forgot I had half this stuff in there. Crackers, chips. I found stuff in there. I totally forgot. I had a couple different types of I like oatmeal. I had some instant oatmeal stuff. I forgot all that was in there. So I went through those, and when I went through those, everything just shrunk down. He said, "You really did just mainly." I said, "Yeah." I said, other than the clothes and some shoes, and I had I had a bunch of shoes on there, but that's it. But anyway, let me go on and get off of here, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and go take my cups in here and get them filled up, and then I'm come right back out here to the truck and or the car, head to the house. I'm gonna grab some spaghetti for Grumpy Smurf. It's 10 o'clock. They close around midnight, and call it a day. Yeah, I had fun on this one, Cammy. Y'all be blessed. Teacup, anybody wants to hit me up, again, you get me at truckerdoll@gmail.com, or you can look me up and send me a message. Just let me know your YouTube name and then who you really are. And then we'll get you added. And if you want to be part of the group so that you can go ahead and post your questions, feel free to do that. Because I got some groups that probably can help you out or at least answer those questions. And if you're Indian, I'll ask you if you're African American if I can't see your real picture. And I'll get you to the Black CDL. But I have some non-Black CDL groups. So if you're Anglo, if you're Latino, I got some other groups that can help you too. I'm just saying. Shay E, peace. Two and two, y'all be blessed. Have a safe night if you're on the road. Get you some sleep. Get y'all some sleep. Look, I was like this. I was drooling, so I had drool coming off my mouth when I woke up. That's how hard I slept, even on that